Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Business Over Brunch. My name is Kima. I am your host and creator. I'm also the senior publicist for Maddie Clay, Branding and Public Relations, and the agency director for Redhead Creative Media Group. I'm super excited for today's conversation. I met this young lady a few months ago when she was in a room in Clubhouse, and in this room, everybody on the stage were chemists, and not only were they chemists, they were Black women chemists, and it was just an amazing experience to hear all these ladies talk about their experiences. And it was so inspiring because we often hear about how there's lack of diversity in the beauty industry. So it was such an amazing conversation, so much knowledge, so much power moving forward. And so I connected with Rachel, who we're going to speak with today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Rachel up onto the conversation.
Hi.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So we're going to go ahead and talk about you and a little bit about who you are. But before then, of course, it's brunch time, and we always have share brunch drinks. So today I'm drinking a little bit mocha macchiato. So what are you having for brunch today?
I'm having an iced coffee.
Yay! So we're both kind
Yeah,
of in that
sugar iced
coffee needs
coffee.
energy. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. I know we've been trying to connect for a while, so I'm glad we finally have the chance to sit down and catch up with each other. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here. So I'm Rachel Johnson. I'm the Charismatic Chemist, and I am from a little small town in Georgia. But due to my career, I've been all over the United States, and now I'm currently in New Jersey. From this lovely introduction, yes, I am a cosmetic chemist. I've been a cosmetic chemist for about 8 years now, in the contract manufacturing sector of the cosmetic industry. We're gonna talk about that, right?
Right.
The different. I want to talk about the difference between cosmetic and beauty industry, definitely. But
Okay.
yes, so through my career, I've worked with over 500 brands to develop their products from concept to retail, and now I offer custom formulation and consulting services to help growing startup beauty brands expand their business into wherever they want to be.
Awesome. I love it. So congratulations on starting the new company. So of course, I always want to know about people's name when they strike me as intriguing. So the Charismatic Chemist. I know it has a little bit to do about your personality, but what made you choose that name for yourself?
Well, I actually thought of it like super late at night. Because I couldn't figure out what my name would be. I didn't want it to be Rachel Johnson. I wanted it to be something catchy and memorable. So I was like, what describes my personality, like how I interact with people, and just like my job too. So most of the charisma comes from, of course, like how I interact with people and network, but also my formulations as well. Like how I formulate is full of charisma. Like from the reviews that I've gotten over the years, like they like every aspect of it. And most of the things that I put in my formulas come from me. Like how I think, how I act, the music I'm listening to, like artsy things. I'm inspired, so that definitely transfers into my formulas.
Awesome. So when you say things you put into your formulations, do you have your own product lines or just things that you use for yourself at home?
I definitely do not have my own product line, but I do use all the products that I have formulated through other brands. So yeah, I really, I really do. I'm kind of biased, but yeah, from other people's opinions, yeah, it's definitely some bangers out there.
Right. Okay. Okay. You have to give yourself your own flowers. I love it. So,
Yeah, I definitely use my own products.
right. That's great. And that's one of the benefits of being able to do that. So you don't have to go get it off the shelf. You already know how to make
Absolutely.
it. Wish I could do that. So let's go ahead and jump into the conversation. So with beauty brands, of course, we know that I don't want to say praying that we're coming out of, but we've been in this pandemic for the last couple of years almost, and there's a lot of people that have started brands, especially in the beauty industry, and we know that the beauty industry really didn't take a hit because we needed to be beautiful. We need to be relaxed. We still need to maintain our hair and skincare and different things like that. So for people who started their own brands or want to start their own brands, what's the difference or the benefits of going with a chemist versus a manufacturer or private labeling?
Definitely, I would say the number one benefit of working with a chemist having one-on-one time with that chemist. In other sectors of the business, you don't really have direct access to communicate with the chemist. So that's the number one benefit of working with the chemist, and also having a little bit more say so over your formulations. So you really have the opportunity to start from scratch and dictate what ingredients are going to be in your formula until it's done, you know. And in other sectors of the industry, you don't really have that capability.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you were a contract with a contract manufacturer. So is that kind of where you were in your job? Like you would get the notes from whoever the initial person was, make it, and then send it back to the middle person to the client for feedback.
Yes, that's one of. So I've had a couple of jobs in the industry, and one of the jobs that I had was like that, where the information came from the brand to maybe a project manager or a customer service rep, and then they would relay to the lab. And you know how the telephone game works. You know,
Right.
like some things are lost in communication, and it's really vital for the chemist to get the feedback directly from the brand, just so that we get it from their mouth, and we can take what they say, literally little things that they say, and apply it to the formula in the lab.
Awesome. So, other
Yeah.
than that one-on-one and having control over the product, what do you think is probably a driver, or how can someone determine which one is right for them? Should they go with the chemist? Should they go with a manufacturer? Or should they go with a private labeler?
I would say the number one thing would be based off of your timeline. If you're looking to launch your product fairly fast, a chemist is probably not your best option for developing your product, because that tends to be a little bit longer than other sectors of the industry. Also, if you are looking to get maybe like a little bit more insight on how the business works, like the beauty business works, you'll definitely get more information from going through a different facility than versus talking to a chemist. A chemist can definitely guide you there, but you learning actual business learning, you would see that turn around a little bit faster with a private label or contract manufacturer.
Awesome, because the chemist is focused on getting your product to you, whereas the manufacturer has all the other. Okay, that's a good point to know. So I do know that with your company, tell us a little bit about your company that you have and how far you take your clients through the process.
Oh, so we actually take our clients all the way to retail. So your product will be in the final packaging and ready to sell to whoever your target market is. And we start from concept. So once your formula is done, we help transition your product into manufacturing, whether it's through one of our manufacturing partners or a manufacturer of your choice. Yes, my husband is my business partner, and he has equal amount of experience as I do in the industry, but on the manufacturing side. So we both kind of work with our clients to help choose what's their best route as far as, which manufacturer would fit their needs,
Mhm.
and then we help them from that point on to get to launch their products.
I love it. The husband and wife, these wonderful people of color knocking down these walls that are trying to keep that diversity out of the beauty industry. I love it. So, when someone comes to you, what information should they already have to help the process? So, it can't just be, this is what I want to do, run with it. Like, what should they have already when they come to the table?
You definitely should have a concept. So, and what involves your concept. I like to say a product brief, because a product brief will definitely help you organize all of those things, all of those thoughts and processes that I would need in order to make the product come to life. But definitely have a concept, a target cost for your product, the ingredients you want to have, what type of packaging you want to put it in. It doesn't have to be physical, but having the idea or your thought process is going towards what your product would look like once it hits the shelves is definitely vital information.
Awesome. So you mentioned a target cost. So when coming to you, like ideally financially, how much money should I be prepared to spend, from consultation to like, moving forward?
I would say, based off of your project, because sometimes some projects take longer than others. So it's based off of the complexity of your product. But I would say between maybe like $5,000 and $12,000, and that's going to include literally everything from consultation until manufacturing, right? So testing and things like that.
Awesome. So it's costly, but not as costly as I thought it would be. I thought you were going to start at 10,000 and then move up from there. So that is good to
Yeah.
know. So with working with brands, individually, you have people like we talked about have created their products. A lot of people are really into natural and organic products right now. But at what point will we need to engage a chemist? I know some people pride themselves on everything is all natural, but there has to be something that holds it all together, like the egg or the flour for people who don't use eggs. What
Yes.
makes everything stick and makes that shelf life make it a good product?
I love this question because I have quite a bit of experience formulating natural and organic products. So definitely preservation and stability, right? So making sure your product is properly preserved and making sure that it's going to be stable enough that it's safe for your consumers once it gets in their house, shower, whatever they do with it, right? Because you can't control what your customers do, but whatever they
Right.
do has to be ready for that, right? So that I would say definitely consult a chemist at that step. I would say you can figure out a lot of things on your own, but once you get to a point where you like your formula, like you like the way it performs and you like the way it feels, definitely validate those two things with the chemist.
Awesome. So stability and
Yes.
preservation. All right. So
Yes.
those things we have to have for good products because we all know that home products don't last long. Like you can't have a mayonnaise protein treatment and still have good mayonnaise.
Oh no.
So you got to have something in there. So that's good to know because I think people feel like that if something is all natural, that there isn't something else added to it to make it, last or have that shelf life that we're looking for. Otherwise, it's literally making it custom. You use it right now, and then after that, it's done, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say like encourage everyone to definitely consult. If you make your products at home, definitely consult a chemist about preservation. The way that those ingredients work, natural and organic ingredients, they go through a washing process, just like every chemical does. But to classify it as natural or organic, it just goes through like a water wash. So it doesn't get everything off. So you have to
Right.
make sure your preservative is strong enough to kill whatever bacteria is on the product, on the ingredient, and enough to preserve your product for your consumer.
Awesome. So, what when we come to you, we have what you said was the product description or the product details, what we want. How do we know that a particular chemist is the right fit? Like, is there a specialization that all chemists have, or can you just formulate anything?
Definitely consult or inquire with your chemist of choice if they have the expertise to formulate the product you're looking for. We all come from different backgrounds. Like if you talk or you listen to any other chemist or any other chemist, they're gonna have a very different story of how they came in to be a chemist, a cosmetic
Mhm.
chemist. So through their own journey and through my own journey, we learn different things from different people. And so our expertise is very wide. And so, I definitely would inquire to see if they can actually do what you're asking them to do. And then also, they have to pass the vibe check. You're going to be working one
Definitely.
on one with this person. Yeah, you're going to be working one on one with this person for an extended period of time. So if it doesn't feel right, and your personalities are not meshing well, it's
Mhm.
probably going to be like that the entire time you're working with them. So definitely take that in account when you're consulting if this person is right for you.
Awesome. So yeah, that vibe check is very important for any type of
Yes.
service provider because like you said, you have to have a really good working relationship in order for what you want to come out the way you want it to come out. And you have to be able to communicate. So I definitely agree with that. So you
Yes.
mentioned like everyone's journey to where they got to be in their specialty. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what area you specialize in.
Uh, it's a long story.
Give
It's
us
a
some
long
nuggets.
story, but I'll sum it up. So I'm from Georgia, a very small town in Georgia, and I got my bachelor's in chemistry degree from Valdosta State University. And through getting my bachelor's, I learned about the cosmetic industry. I did not know about it before. And so when I found out about it, I was like, I'm totally doing this. I actually was going to go to pharmacy school, but I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be a cosmetic chemist no matter what. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. So I literally went. I was very ambitious with my job search at first, and I realized that it's very nichey.
Mm-hmm.
And the industry is very hubby. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
hub in LA and it's a hub in the New Jersey area. So, young Rachel thought that she had to move to New York to be a successful chemist. And that's what I was going to do. And I learned that I didn't have to really move to the area in order to find a job. I just had to expand where I would be working, just
Right.
open my mind a little bit more. So my first job in the industry was in Idaho, and I was there for 5.5 years. And then I moved to New York because like it was always part of my plan. So I moved
Right.
to New York for a different job, um, in the same sector, but just how their business ran differently. And I wanted to learn a little bit more about color cosmetics. So I worked there until the pandemic, and then I started my own business.
Awesome.
And I love it. I love it because I can take everything that I've learned and apply it to the audience, that I want to serve, which is startup brands. I worked with startup brands my whole career, but I noticed that, there was a lot of issues that they were running into when
Mm-hmm.
it came to launching their products, when it came to formulation and things like that. And I think that most of the no, it's a fact that most of these startup brands and most of these beginning brands have the best ideas. They have the best
Right.
ideas for products, they have the best ideas for marketing, and the big guys take those ideas. They're, like P&G, places like
Mm-hmm.
that. They're definitely watching the startup brands and what they're doing, and they're, adopting it. So I'm like, it's not fair. Like, it's not fair
Right.
for your ideas to be stolen because you don't really have what the big guys have to make it come to life. So that's what I do. Like, that's my passion. My passion is to
Right.
just make myself available to individuals that probably would never be able to have access to me.
I'm glad you mentioned that about the big brands, taking ideas, because that was going to be one of my questions. Like how so again, going to our search and looking for the right person to work with, what is something that someone should look for in regards to their protections as the client? So if I come to you, how can I be sure that you're not going to take my formula or my idea and turn it into something else or give it over to somebody else?
Oh, absolutely. You definitely need to be up on legal jargon. Yes, everyone has lawyers, in this industry. Whether it's just to go over contracts and things like that, or actually create them. But definitely make sure that you have a mutual NDA in place before you talk to anyone. That's definitely going to protect you up front. If they're not asking for an NDA and you're sharing your idea, that is a huge red flag. So definitely make sure you have an NDA in place before you share intricate details of your product. Um, and also making sure that once you get in collaboration with whoever you're working with, how you can own your formula or own your IP, which is intellectual property.
Mhm.
So have that conversation up front, instead of, like once you're actually working with them. That's for sure the best way to protect yourself for people who will steal your idea, because most people won't get into they won't get into those conversations if they're trying to steal your idea.
Right. So you're saying if I come and say, hey, Rachel, I want to book a consultation, once I have it booked, I should send you an NDA to say, okay, I'm entering into a conversation with you. Can you sign this before we actually have the meeting? Or is the NDA coming from you?
Most of the time, I initiated the NDA, so we have an NDA that we work with. But most of the times people sign it and they send their own, which is fine.
Okay.
So that we have overlapping NDAs, that's cool too. But I definitely sign NDAs with anyone that shares intricate details with me. It's not necessarily upfront because the first consultation is more so us getting to know each other, see if the vibe is right,
Mhm.
you to ask me, to inquire if I can actually do your project in the time
Mhm.
frame that you're looking for. So that's the initial conversation. But once we get into ingredients and packaging and like all those details, definitely an NDA is in place for sure.
Awesome. So, before we close out, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you think is important for someone to understand if they are, looking to start their own brand and how they're, researching their options to get started?
Oh my gosh, I have a lot of pointers.
Go
But
ahead.
I definitely would say, don't be afraid of private labeling. Like even though I'm a chemist, and I am like, I'm offering my services. Some people are, they're not really ready for that point yet. And if you need funding to talk to a chemist, private label is a very great option to get your brand up and going very quickly. And so you can, get some income in order to, fund your collaboration with the chemist. I think that that's the best route, and you definitely can learn a lot about the business through the private label process. There some private labels, their system is very similar to others. So you kind of get your feet wet with the private label option. I also want to talk about like the difference between the cosmetic industry and the beauty industry, because a lot of people
Perfect.
don't know the difference. But I am in the cosmetic industry, so we work together. So the beauty industry, we work very parallel to each other. The way I like to describe it is the beauty industry is the people that sell the products, right? They sell it to the public, but the cosmetic industry are the people that make it come to life as far as manufacturing, suppliers of packaging and ingredients. Like we have, it's its own industry. So
Wow.
we provide services to the beauty industry, and we help each other. So
Awesome.
that's
Thank you
kind
for
of that's kind of
clarifying
like
that.
how it works. So when I say I don't have my own product line, it's because I'm in the I'm in the cosmetic industry, and sometimes that gets a little iffy if you have
Right.
your own product line and you're currently like immersed in the cosmetic industry.
Right.
Because I want to learn about ingredients for formulation for my clients, not really ingredients for my own products and what I want to
Right.
put in them. So just to keep it separate, I'm
Okay.
like, no product lines.
Well, definitely thank you for clarifying that. I think we spoke about that before about, separating the two. So thank you for bringing that again to the forefront. And I like what you said about private labeling as an option to get started, to increase brand awareness, increase your funding so that you can take it to a chemist. So with private labeling, you definitely want to find a product that is very similar to what it is that you want to have. So that way, when you switch formulas, do you tell your customers, your target audience, that you switch formulas? Like how do you make it known that, okay, this is the old formula and now we have a specialized formula?
I definitely would do. I like to say rebrand or a
Mhm.
reformulation. So I love when brands switch from private label to maybe working with a contract manufacturer or a chemist, because you get the same result. As far as like formulation wise, you get the same result, but it's just different terms. But yeah, I think that it definitely will be. You can say the words reformulation
Mhm.
or a rebrand, but the rebrand is more appealing to me because you literally can update your packaging and
Right.
your formulas at the same time. Because that's part of it too. You can get custom packaging and really blow it up.
Right.
Get your clients really excited about the new formula by having a new look, having new marketing, new everything, and they won't be so worried about the formula. But I
Right.
would say definitely say as far as like private labeling, transitioning to a chemist, some people do both at the same time because there are certain formulations that private labels don't offer, will not do, kind of like over the counter formulation. So your
Mhm.
SPF or anything that would require clinical testing. Yeah,
Right.
they probably stay away from that for a reason, because it's a very robust system to produce formulas like that. So some people work with the chemist and with the private labeler at the same time to really diversify their line. And I love it because with different, like I said, different formulators formulate different. So you're definitely going to have a very unique product line if you hire multiple chemists or hire multiple contract manufacturers to give you like what they're good at, right? So like if your
That's
contract
awesome.
manufacturer is good at something and somebody else is good at something, bring it together so you have the best of both worlds in your product line.
So you don't have to have everything coming from the same warehouse. You can definitely bring it in from different places and have one really good brand. So I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. Thank you again, Rachel, for joining me today. I know we've been trying to make this happen for a while, so I'm super excited that you were able to come on. So tell us how we can stay connected with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me. I had such a good time. You can definitely check me out on Instagram at the Charismatic Chemist. That's where you can get all of the behind the scenes footage of what I'm doing in the lab. All of the fun stuff is there. You also can check out my website at www.thecharismaticchemist.com. That's where you can learn all about me, my background, the formulas I like to do, and also how to book a consultation with me. And so through that process, you'll be able to know my availability to be your chemist, and also how I can better serve you. What else? I think I'm on Twitter. Yeah, I don't tweet that much, but I'm definitely gonna get up and going on that because I definitely have a lot of thoughts to shoot off. But you can
Yes.
find me on Twitter at CC Rachel Johnson. I love that name because copy me, yes, on all your emails, and also the charismatic chemist. Yeah.
Love it, love it. Yes, I think a lot of people are starting to give Twitter its second life. So
Yes.
I've been hearing a lot of people talk about they're not on, but they're getting back on. So
Oh,
right.
I definitely am. The beauty industry, the skincare space, the beauty industry on Twitter is absolutely amazing. Like, if you're not on Twitter and you're a beauty brand owner, definitely check them out. Like, the conversations that are had, the information that's shared is so
Mhm.
fast and it's just available. It's really awesome. I see it, but I don't tweet. I'm just saying. I'm gonna get started. I
You
promise.
got to join the conversations, girl.
I do. I'm just like, but it just happens so fast, I'm just like, oh my gosh, and then they're off to the next thought before I even get
Right,
before I can
right.
respond. But I love it though. You definitely should check. Yeah, definitely get on Twitter. Just create
Um,
a profile. You don't have to talk like me.
right. You can always learn something. You can always make some good connections to follow up with later. So love it. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much, Rachel. I have learned some really good things today. So I'm learning along with everybody else with this. So some key takeaways. It's okay to start with a manufacturer or a private label before you move over to a chemist. Eventually, if you make your own products, you will need to engage a chemist to make sure you have preservation and stability. I use the right words. See, I was
Yes.
paying attention. And
Yes.
it's
I
okay
love
to have different products coming from different warehouses into one amazing cohesive brand. So
it.
thank
Yes.
you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. So today, again, make sure that you all join us. We are back with Business Over Brunch every first and third Saturday. So join us right here. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, my name is Kima. I am your host and creator. And we also have Miss Rachel Johnson, the Charismatic Chemist. Until the next time, be blessed and enjoy whatever is on your brunch menu.
Oh, I